Alright guys, in today's video we're going to be talking once again about Death Stranding and the announcement that it's going to be releasing on PC in summer of 2020. And I can tell you right off the bat, this conversation is going to upset some people for sure. Frankly, I don't care. I just have to be honest, and that's what I'm going to be in this video. It's going to be an opinion-based video, and I'm not going to hold back. I'm just going to speak my opinion, and if that upsets some people, well, there's just nothing I can do about that. There's going to be some people who look at this and believe this is toxic content. It's not toxic. I'm just being truthful about some of the things I'm seeing here. And before anybody gets all upset, thinking, oh man, this is just another fanboy rant video where he's going to be all pro PlayStation and he's going to talk badly and talk down to Xbox and its fans. And while I do have a lot of things to say about Xbox and some of its fans in this video, I will start out the video by saying two things. First of all, I think I've been pretty fair most of the time when I talk about Microsoft or Xbox on my channel here. Are there times where I'm a little bit unfair, a little bit biased, a little bit maybe aggressive and egregious? Yeah, and you know what? I can admit that. I can admit that. Other people can admit that, but I will admit that. There are those times where I can be. Do I like to poke fun? Yeah. Are there times where maybe, particularly with Gears 5, people were expecting me to just, be all celebratory and like, oh, look, Gears 5. This makes up for everything. Some people got upset at the fact that, to me, it didn't make up for anything. But I digress. The other thing I want to point out is that I am aware that there are toxic fans that support PlayStation. Okay, there are toxic PlayStation fans just like there are toxic Xbox fans. And all I want to say is that if you are an individual, if I could speak, if you're an individual who canceled your Death Stranding pre-order for PlayStation 4 because you found out it was going to PC, what is wrong with you? Okay, you're missing the forest for the trees here. You are failing to understand that you never cared about this game in the first place. You really only were going to buy this game because you wanted to support Sony and the PlayStation brand, which is fine to an extent, but when it's not fine is when you're going to use that as some kind of weapon. Okay, like listen, I'm sorry, Death Stranding looks like a great game, and it was announced as a PC game from day one. Did Sony kind of hide that fact a little bit throughout the years? Yeah, but come on now. You're being a little bit too extreme. You're making yourself look bad. And you're just proving that you're not really in it for the actual games. You're in it just for the sake of supporting a company and rooting for your favorite team, which nobody's saying you can't root for your favorite team. But this is one of those things where it's like if you're rooting for a sports team, you're all on board with them when they're winning, but the second they start losing, you're jumping ship. That's not cool, right? So I'm starting out this video highlighting that to be fair here, to show that, yeah, I'm aware of how some people are reacting to this news. I'm not ignorant to that, and I don't agree with it either. But we need to talk about Xbox for a minute here, and these Xbox fans, because in my opinion, they're taking it just as far, in some cases maybe even worse. If there's something I can't stand, are these people who want to believe that they are better than everyone around them because they have just blindly accepted the changes and the decisions that Microsoft and the Xbox brand has implemented. And because they've just blindly accepted this, everybody else is just stuck in the past. Because Microsoft is the one paving the way for what the future of gaming is. And Sony putting Death Stranding, even though it's 505 Games publishing it, but even though Sony is allowing Death Stranding to go to PC because they do own the IP, them doing this is a signal that Sony's following Microsoft, and now PlayStation has no exclusive games. Well, first of all, listen. You need to understand there is a fundamental difference between Microsoft and Sony, and this difference will be there for the foreseeable future. I know that these Xbox guys want to feel as though they're right about everything, but that fundamental difference is Sony still sees the value in selling their console hardware. They have seen the value in it, and they've cared about it. Keyword cared about it, cared about selling it since 1994, And here in 2019, going into 2020 with the PS5, they still care very much about selling their PlayStation hardware. If you look at Microsoft with the original Xbox back in 2000, 2001, did they care about selling that? Oh yeah, they did. They fought tooth and nail to make that console seem as appealing as they possibly could. They did the same thing for the 360, and they gave people a lot of really good reasons to go out and buy their console. With the Xbox One, not so much. With Xbox Scarlet, not looking good. And that's just the truth of the matter. Okay? The fundamental difference is Sony still has exclusive games. They will still have exclusive games. And the reason why they will have these exclusive games is because, again, they want to sell their console, and they realize that in order to effectively sell your console and to make it seem like an appealing proposition for why people want to invest in it, you have to give them games that they can only play on that console. You need to give it value. Microsoft doesn't do that anymore. But even putting that fundamental difference aside, that a lot of these Xbox fans have literally convinced themselves that they know Sony's plan, and they know that Sony's plan is to follow, note for note, everything Microsoft is doing when it comes to putting all their games on PC, Game Pass, and everything else. Is Sony going to compete with Microsoft in some of these areas? Of course they will. Are they going to copy them note for note? Why would they? They're the leader. That's what these people fail to understand. Microsoft is not the leader. Microsoft may have the most money, doesn't make them the leader of this market. That's what these people seem to constantly get themselves confused with. Anyway, the other thing I want to mention is how these Xbox fans are doing the most bizarre thing I think I've ever seen. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying PlayStation fans haven't done this in the past. I'm sure they have. But currently what I'm seeing is there's groups of Xbox fans celebrating the fact that they are still not getting a game. And I'm just so baffled by this. Like, they're out here celebrating the fact that Death Stranding's coming to PC, while simultaneously saying that Xbox is their preferred platform, but Xbox is still not getting Death Stranding. I mean, do you guys see what I'm saying here? Like, what sense does that make? I mean, I get that maybe you can be happy now that you can play it on PC, I guess, if you're an Xbox and PC owner. But if you own a gaming PC, why in God's name would you own an Xbox? I mean, that just doesn't make any sense to me. And you can tell these people doing this, you see it on Twitter mainly, because these people, sometimes they make videos on it, but they like to hide behind their masks. They care too much about their reputation to really be truthful about who they are. And people at times like this can see right through it. Like, we get it, guys. Like, you can't stand the fact that PlayStation still cares about exclusive games. They still care way more about selling their console hardware than Microsoft does. And that chaps you, and you get upset about it. And this is your way of validating that, right? Is like, oh, Death Stranding's going to PC. What about The Last of Us Part 2? Is that going to PC? What about Ghost of Tsushima? Right? What about future titles? What about sequel to God of War 2018? What about the next Spider-Man game? What about Horizon Zero Dawn 2? Are these games going to PC too? Something tells me that they're not. And there's a reason they're not. Now, is Sony becoming a little bit more lenient, a little bit more open to PC, especially with their second-party deals? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. There can be a healthy balance here. I'm not saying every single game needs to be exclusive, because it doesn't need to be that way. But in my opinion, you cannot do what Microsoft is doing and just say no game needs to be exclusive, because at that point you are just devaluing your console. You're making your console, frankly, pretty irrelevant, and you're making it a really hard sell for people. Oh, but people who prefer console are going to buy consoles. You're right. Oh, wow, you are right. Did you guys hear that? People who want to buy consoles are going to buy consoles. Well, then let me ask you this. Why in God's name would they buy an Xbox console when they could buy a PlayStation or even a Nintendo Switch? Two consoles that are significantly more appealing, objectively speaking, because they offer games you can only get on those consoles. Why would anybody buy an Xbox? Now, I know I'm digressing in this video, and I apologize, but I can't help but point these things out. People say I'm being toxic. whatever. Like, this isn't, I'm not being toxic. I'm literally speaking facts here. These are factual things. Fact, Outer Worlds, selling well on PlayStation 4, you can play it on PlayStation 4. Fact, Death Stranding, not releasing on Xbox One. Regardless of what you want to say, those are the facts. Now, is it a fact that a follow-up to The Outer Worlds won't be going to PlayStation? Most likely. I think it's safe to say that's a fact, yeah. But who knows? Who knows at this point, right? When Microsoft sees just how well this game sold on their rival platform, who knows? I'm messing around, of course. I do not anticipate that a sequel to The Outer Worlds is going to be sold on the PlayStation 5. I'm just simply trying to highlight something here, people. Okay? Like, we're over here getting one of Microsoft's best games they've gotten in a while, because they do own Obsidian now. PlayStation fans can currently play this game. Granted, that's thanks to the private division. But, you know, I think I'm gonna end the video with this, because I'm just so tired of people coming at me, man. Right? Like, people getting so upset about the things I have to say about Xbox. This whole little group. I often get told, man, why do you care so much about this stuff? Why do you care about sales or numbers or this? Go play games. Shouldn't you be playing games? You're out here being an armchair analyst and you're not even playing games. Well, look at these guys now. What are they doing? Are they playing games? Are they celebrating their games? I mean, maybe a little bit. But all I've been seeing for the past 24 hours is them celebrating the fact that Death Stranding, a game that I thought they didn't even care about, is going to PC. Huh. Don't get me wrong, guys. There's a lot of hypocrisy to go around. Everybody's hypocritical at times. Nobody's perfect. And I'll tell you this. This is just some life advice. Anybody who walks around thinking they're never hypocritical, that they never make mistakes, that they're never wrong, these are the people, more often than not, who are the worst. Like, they are mostly wrong. They are the most frequently hypocritical. When people can't admit at times when they're wrong about things, or maybe when they're off the mark, that's a problem. And when it comes to these individuals that I'm speaking about on both sides, but specifically with this one side, it's really, really bad. It's really bad. And you know how they mask it? They mask it by convincing you, well, I just love all games. I love everything. I'm a lover of all games. It's like, okay, man. Okay, guys, we get it. We get it. You're better than everybody. You know better than everybody. You know the future. And not only that, but you love all games. So there's nothing flawed here. So you go ahead and you continue to celebrate the fact that Death Stranding's going to PC. But at the end of the day, it really only comes down to one thing and one thing only. And that is, there is a group of people celebrating the fact that a game that I think is actually going to be a really good game, looks like it's going to be great, isn't releasing on their platform. They're celebrating the fact it's going to a different platform, or more accurately, they're celebrating the fact that it's not going to be exclusive to a certain platform. And that's fine. People are free to do what they want, but I had to take some time to talk about this because I've been pretty lenient on Xbox recently. I haven't really talked about it too much. I haven't talked about its fans too much. I think the last video I made talking about it was, how some Xbox fans were going on and on about Project Scarlet and stuff. And it's just like, guys, listen. Most people have some issues with Xbox, and the issues they have with Xbox are pretty valid ones. People are not just, are there people who are trashing on it just for the sake of trashing on it? Yeah, there are. Am I one of those people? No, I like to think I'm not. I haven't been talking about anything recently because it seems like it's been fine. You got The Outer Worlds, that's great. Maybe I was a little bit disturbed with Gears 5, but overall it hasn't been too bad recently. We're all kind of just waiting to hear more about Project Scarlet and see what Microsoft's plans are for 2020. But in this case, it's not even so much, it's not Xbox in this case, it's just the fans, man. Like, some of the fans, not all of them. I'm not trying to group everybody together, but just some of these fans were just like, what is wrong with you people? Really, what is wrong with you people? Like you go around calling people frauds and flip-floppers and everything else. It's like, have you looked in the mirror? Like, you guys are just wearing masks, and people can see right through it. And the only people that aren't seeing through it, the people who are supporting you, are the ones that just want to they just want to blindly follow. And that's it, man. So, I don't know. That does it for the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. Leave it a like if you enjoyed it or agree with what I have to say here. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon and feel free to share this video out. But until next time, guys, take care.